Recently I made a video about Neptunia Cross Senran Kagura saying how it was the worst Senran Kagura game. But what one comment reminded me about, however, was that there's a few other Senran Kagura games that may be even worse. Keep in mind that these other games aren't exactly the same. They aren't action-packed hack and slash games like the main series or again like the Neptunia spinoff. But nonetheless, they're still a part of the Senran Kagura series, so I have to at least give them the benefit of the doubt. So today we're taking a look at a game that had everyone scratching their heads in confusion when it was announced. Senran Kagura Reflections. The game that advertised itself as being able to replicate the feeling of grabbing a breast with the power of HD Rumble. Looking back, it's crazy to see a whole ass Switch game being advertised using breast implants. Even the late great Asuka was super hype about the game when it first came out, and being a fellow Senran Kagura fan, I couldn't blame him.
Look at this shit! The physics are crazy!
But I have to admit, looking back, feeling some titty with your Joy-Cons sounds a little bit weird, to be honest. Imagine being a kid and going up to your friends like,
"Guys, I just touched a boob last night."
And then when they ask you whose boob you fondled, you just whip out this. You would be bullied into the shadow realm for sure after that. This game is nothing like the hack and slash goodness of the original titles, and while I would normally say that sucks, it's not out of the ordinary. If the Senran Kagura series was a cake, the action would be the fresh baked cake itself, fluffy and fresh. And then you would have the fan service that would add 50 layers of icing on top of that. The action parts of the series are mostly important, but you're not sinking your teeth into it without getting a mouthful or two of that fan service first. Which is why we get these odd games like this where the entire game has you being the classmate of the girls from Senran Kagura. This is more of a dating simulator where you can get closer to the main character, Asuka, and over time it slowly grows to a point where she gains feelings for you. Or if you're willing to shell out more money, you can buy the other characters from the series like Yumi or Riona. Now, did I need to buy them for this review? No. But I'm here to give y'all the juicy details you deserve, so I will sacrifice my wallet to do so. Also because Riona's best girl, but hey, that's besides the point. Buying these DLC won't change much about the gameplay, but it adds different scenarios that are exclusive to each girl. Not to mention that each girl you play with will come with their own set of dialogue as well. So for the fans who can't stand Asuka and may enjoy Murasaki better, you will have to put out some extra dough for that. There's also new outfits and backgrounds and music, but that's nothing too special on its own. So yeah, don't worry, you don't need to buy anyone else if you just want Asuka alone. But seeing how much people love Yumi, I can imagine the hardcore fans will put out the extra $10 at least. Not to mention the extra massages you can unlock for another $10 DLC, one of which we'll get back to in a second. But if you're new to the Senran Kagura games, the extra DLC here is probably some of the least aggressive in the entire franchise. Because games like Peach Beach Splash can drain your wallet dry if you bought all the extra DLC, meaning that this is a lot more tame in comparison. The process of how you get closer to the girls in this game is of course through massaging parts of their body like their hands, thighs, and yes, even feet.
Let me see her feet! Show me the feet! I gotta see the feet!
Asuka again obviously approved of that one. Your goal is to fill up heart vials with one of 5 different colors. By the end of one playthrough, if you focus on one specific color, you'll fill up part of a final heart. Doing so will get you closer to the true ending for each character. Every time you play, you will start off by massaging the character's hands to select the scenario. Then you enter these scenarios and have to awkwardly grope the girl. And yeah, you can be a weirdo about it if you want to, but it can feel a bit cringe as you sit there poking her stomach, or even grabbing onto her boob to start up the next part of the scene. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of funny to sit there and just smack their breast assist in order to start the next massage. However, if you care enough to get all of the endings, it's important to pick the exact color that you need for each playthrough. So you may have to get a little weird about it if you care to unlock every ending possible. or you can just default to doing head pats if that's what you prefer instead. It also helps that after the groping is over, you can choose to skip the mini games after, so you don't have to play the same massages over and over through all 5 playthroughs. You'll be able to do all these massages ranging from something tame like brushing her arm to even using a massager. Yeah, thankfully this game isn't going in that direction with things, but it does push those boundaries just enough to make this into something that you don't want your parents walking in on you playing. And of course, you'll see each and every reaction that each of these girls has in the process. The game is pretty short too, with each playthrough taking just about 30 minutes to complete. So if you can look past the parts of it that do seem a bit creepy or cringe surrounding the game, I think you'll have an alright time playing. The question is, do you need to finish all 5 heart routes? Absolutely the fuck not. The only reason I did it was to see what would happen, but I promise you I would never do that again. The worst part has to be how repetitive it is though, because a majority of the gameplay is surrounding a small number of massages and scenes. So for someone like me who isn't so much into visual novel kinds of games, it gets pretty stale and boring after a while. The whole game can be summed up after playing for about 30 minutes. So if you really don't care about this series or the characters, there's not much justifying you to buy this. And no, not even the promise of feeling some titty through the power of HD Rumble is enough to justify this purchase. But if you are a fan of Senran Kagura for more than just the action, I think it's worth a shot to try it out for 10 bucks. Now I will be taking a look at some of the other Senran Kagura spin-offs in due time, but for now, let me know what you think of this review. Subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I'll see you all in the next video.